Hello, foodie friends. We are back outside. It is perfect weather. It's about in the 50s, so it's perfect to be doing our rocket stove and building a fire. And so that's what we're going to cook on today. We're going to go back to our Foxfire Appalachian cookery. And this time, because it's fall and because we were kind of craving some comfort food, we're going to do chicken and dumplings and a very unusual coleslaw, but I think it's actually going to turn out to be really good. So I'm really excited to try it. Cannot wait to have chicken and dumplings made over an open fire. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we get to our actual eating and finishing the meal, I kind of wanted to show you something that I thought was really interesting. In each of these Foxfire books, I noticed that they have a lot of recipes for something called poke or pokeweed. And you can see it right here. And they will have a lot of really interesting recipes with all of this poke. And I had remembered years ago, my dad had talked about eating poke salad. His mom and his granny would go up in the mountains and look for this pokeweed in the early spring, cut it, and they would cook it up to eat. And, so my dad kind of just grew up with this, him and his sisters, eating lots of poke salad. And I thought that was really interesting because the other nickname for this particular plant is the pufferfish of vegetarians, which if any of you know about pufferfish, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That there's only one part of that fish that you can eat and the rest of it can kill you, which is true of the pokeweed. So I really started looking into it because at first I thought, oh, wouldn't it be really cool to make this poke salad like my dad used to make, and he grew up eating it, and it'd be really cool to go ahead and serve that. Then when I started reading about the dangers of pokeweed, I quickly put that aside because I am not well versed enough in how to pick this thing to make it safe enough for me to feel comfortable eating. Now, funny thing is when I looked this plant up to see, well, what does this thing look like? I discovered, hey, I've seen that like everywhere. So we're gonna go on a little mini field trip. It's not too exciting, it's just in my backyard, but I just wanted to show you what this plant looks like and the differences between the very young plants, which they would eat in the South, and a lot of people still do, and the mature plants, which you really should not even touch with your bare skin. So if you see this plant and you think it's a weed and you want to cut it down, don't weed eat it and don't touch it with your bare hands. Make sure you wear gloves and dispose of it properly, because yeah, it can literally kill you. Okay, here we go. So this is actually technically on my neighbor's property that borders ours. We don't have a fence up. We just kind of know where the fence line should be. But you can see here, oh, and there's Crookshanks going through the pokeweed. You can see here that this right here, you've got what was berries. Now they've fallen off because, you know, it's October, so they've already kind of bloomed and fallen off to produce seeds, you know, to come up for next year. You will notice that this has got a very red looking stalk. Now, mountain lore says, and scientists say, that when that is red, you do not eat it and you do not touch it, because the poison or toxin that is in the stalks and the leaves and the berries and also the root, so this whole plant is pretty much a poison. It can actually cause mutations, which can cause cancer. And if you are pregnant, it can cause some really bad birth defects. Now, if you were to eat this, say like, you know, you get a leaf or you get a berry, you're going to start to vomit. Yeah, possibly go into convulsions. If it's a very mild case, the doctors can treat you and you will survive. But if you eat a lot of this, you will go into what's called respiratory paralysis, and you will not be able to breathe. Essentially, you will suffocate to death. Because we've had some like warmer weather in October, warmer than we should really. You can see here, there's some green berries, so it's kind of like flowering again in a way. But you can also see behind here, here's some older that's fixing to fall. Now you can see behind me, I don't know, let's see if I can figure this out. Here we go. You can see behind me this big red stalk right here. That is a giant pokeweed. I'm gonna try to get a closer up of the stalk because you won't believe how big this thing can get. Look at that stalk, guys. That is insane. This thing is huge. I guess we found the mother plant. And my dad actually called his mom, who still lives in Georgia, and asked her how they had prepared this pokeweed when he was a kid. And she would have picked this, like I said, very young, very small leaves, and she would have boiled it until it was, you know, completely wilted. Then she would have drained it, rinsed it, drained that water, and then she fried it in some fat back. And that was kind of the more traditional poke salad. You know, you could add some onions, eggs, that kind of thing if you wanted to. But it was only the spring, the very, very early spring plants that they would go up in the mountains to pick. So all of this here, poison. But if any of you have ever had poke salad or gone to a poke salad festival, which there are some still in the South, I know there's one in Georgia, there's one in Gainesboro, Tennessee. If any of you have ever tried poke salad, or if you've ever been to one of those festivals, comment below and let me know how it tastes, how you prepared it, and if you really like it. All right, guys, it is time to see how this chicken is doing on the rocket stove. All right, get ready for the steam, guys. Hmm? Oh, okay. No, it's not done yet.
Oh, no,
But we've not lost a lot of liquid, which is what I was really afraid of. But this is actually a nice slow simmer. Mm-hmm. Which I'm hoping will make this chicken really, really tender. So we're gonna put the lid back on and let this stew. Well, we'll probably check it in what, another 15 minutes? Yeah, we'll see how it does. We're gonna go out and check the chicken again. We should be ready to go ahead and finish it. Now I've got the flour and salt and pepper that we'll make the gravy with, and we've got our dumplings made. I've got a bowl to pull the chicken out, and of course we've got to have a whisk to go ahead and stir this flour into the chicken broth. So let's cross our fingers and check and see if this is ready. Okay, I think we are ready for the big reveal. Ooh! Oh, those are beautiful! Oh, that is just right. I think they're done.
Yeah.
All right, let's go eat.
Okay, we have never been more ready to eat.
Yes, I'm very.
Okay, let's just go ahead. I'm going right for a dumpling.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That is a ton of I mean, it's
oh, the flavor.
Yeah, it's just
oh my gosh.
There's no, it feels like there's no filler whatsoever. It's just all chicken and dumpling. You know what I mean? There's no empty space in there. It's just so rich with flavor.
You've got that hint of the wood smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, doing it on the open, that is what really elevates this dish. But don't worry, I have a sneaky suspicion that even doing it on your stove is going to produce one of the best chicken and dumplings you've ever had. I mean, it is, so flavorful. Okay, but we've got to try this really unusual coleslaw. I've never had coleslaw made like this. So let's go for this one.
I'm not a huge coleslaw fan anyway, but I like this. I want more.
Yeah, really, it's the kind of coleslaw where you really want to keep eating it. Now, of course, a lot of that has to do with the sugar.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
But the seed, the caraway seed works with it. The vinegar is not overpowering. I've had some coleslaws where it was just a burst of acid in your mouth that was awful.
Yeah, it's a very mellow flavor overall, but it still works. You know what I mean? It's still a flavor you want. It's not
you gotta
really strong one way or another.
Right. You got a little bite of an onion in there.
Yeah.
That just kind of elevates it even more. Okay. Seriously. Out of this month that we did with Foxfire, I think this is my favorite meal.
Yeah. I mean, the other ones are hard to beat.
The pound cake was awesome, but I think just for an overall dinner.
Yeah, for a dinner meal, like you can't go wrong with this. It's filling, it's got your greens. I mean, it's really good.
Perfect fall dinner.
Yeah.
Because you got your root vegetables, you've got your chicken with your gravy and a dumpling. Who doesn't want that for fall? I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is something that I would make again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Maybe several times, maybe once a week. I don't know. But out of all the dinners, I think I would really beg you to try this one. Because wow, is it just, it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're not going to have as much work if you're doing it on your stove.
Right.
We did the extra with the rocket stove. So it's really a pretty easy meal to throw together. Yeah. This was super easy. It's a great way to use up some cabbages that you might have, from your garden. Just spectacular. I mean, what more can you say?
Enough about it.
Yeah, we just want to eat the whole plate. Yeah. As far as this cookbook, I'm giving this cookbook a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Definitely a pickup. So far, the pound cake was awesome. This was awesome. You're getting really cool information in it about all kinds of mountain lore, like with the pokeweed that I explained earlier. But you're also getting so many people's memories.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because this is, this was written in the 80s, but I mean, my dad grew up in the 60s, late 50s, 60s, 70s, and he was eating the same way.
Yeah.
This is North Georgia. This is a really cool snapshot.
Yeah.
Of the food of North Georgia. And their memories are just so fascinating.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So definitely give this a pickup if you are really into, Appalachian cooking, Southern comfort food. Now, you will probably, some of you will probably notice that there's 5 Fridays to October. But we're actually going to take a break from the rocket stove, and I've had some subscribers ask me to do a kitchen tour, especially to show some of my Corel dishes and some of the things, some of the more antique things that I have gotten from my grandmother that she collected in the 50s and 60s. So I was going to go through some of that. I will put together a kitchen tour. I will show you some secret cupboards. Some of you may think that I'm really, really super organized. That's not really the case. So I will show you some secrets that are hiding in this kitchen, and also some of the weird pantry situations that I've had to do because this house does not have a pantry.
Right.
So we've just kind of had to turn part of our craft room and work room into a pantry. So we'll just kind of talk a little bit about that and show some little things that I really have enjoyed using for my grandmother's collection. So hope you stay tuned for that because I hope that'll be really fun to do. So thank you for watching this one. Try this dish. Oh my gosh, you will just absolutely thank your lucky stars that Foxfire wrote that down for you to try. And stay tuned for next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.